Boys Podcast.
Yo.
Hey. I'm your host, Gunnar Cain. This is
Bing bong.
Zak Rector. Hey, trash on the table. No, we don't.
Now we don't.
We clean up nice, folks. This is Bucket Boys Podcast, where you send in topics, we put them in a bucket, pull them out, talk about them, laugh, cry, and other things.
I did too much pantomiming.
A little bit.
I did way too much. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't forget, if you want your suggestions read on the air, email us at thebucketboyspod@gmail.com or send us a DM. We like those. Slip in there on the Instagram at The Bucket Boys Podcast, and on YouTube, check us out. Full video available, The Bucket Boys Podcast, and on the TikTok at Bucket Boys Pod. Fuck, Zach, how's it going, dude?
It's going well, man. We're into the new year. We're hot. No, we're not.
Sure aren't.
I was going in order.
We don't go in order.
Yeah.
We're not. We're getting ready to record a New Year's episode,
Yeah.
though. I'll tell you that fucking
Christmas
much.
is coming.
Yeah, Christmas is coming. I think it's in a couple weeks, actually. Maybe
Is it?
next
No.
week.
No, I think it's next week.
I don't really fucking know. We might be in the new year. Who gives a shit?
It's a lot. We got a lot
There's
going
a
on.
lot going on,
Yeah.
guys. Just to let you know.
Yeah. No, what I got going on, just ready for the new year.
Yeah. You're either ready for the new year or it's been a hot start to the new year, dude. We'll cover all the bases.
Yeah.
Christmas is either coming up or it's coming on, dude. That's
What I'm trying to say is it's tough right now. How you doing?
oh man, it was hot. We just celebrated my wife's birthday. Happy birthday to her. We went out as a family as a podcast family.
Happy birthday. No, we're
This
not
might be 5 weeks later. I really don't know.
Yeah.
So we just celebrated her birthday though, and we went to a. First of all, I started the whole day in a bad mood of my wife's birthday. And now, in fairness, it wasn't her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was the weekend before her birthday. We went out. I was in a bad mood. Kids are horrible, but I love them. But anyways, I started off the day in a bad mood. We went to...
Explain why the day started off rough.
Dude, because nobody wants to fucking listen.
Mm-hmm.
Just... so here's this. We went... Oh, I made all these plans. I made reservations.
You did. You went all out.
I bought tickets to a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, we have to be here at this time to start the day.
Yeah.
Right? Now, granted, did I build in buffer time? Yes. But
Yeah.
still,
As a true planner does.
we have to be here at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not happen.
Yeah.
And I was pretty aggravated. And it was all because of my children.
Yeah, I mean, kids will be kids.
Yeah, well, I was mad. So, dude,
That's a good way to start off the show.
Dude, you started with you didn't even drink a whole beer on the show.
Sorry.
Are you bringing in empty cans to throw, you son of a bitch?
No.
All right.
I'm not trying to increase my numbers that way.
I think you are. So anyways, we went as a family and as a Bucket Boys group. We went to an escape room.
Yep.
And then we went out to dinner, and then we went to drive-through Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Because like we discussed, or maybe we
are going to discuss or did discuss or
Christmas is our wives' favorite holiday. Favorite.
Yeah.
So the idea of us all getting together and going out anytime near Christmas and not hitting the Christmas lights, unacceptable.
You're not allowed to
Unacceptable.
do that. It's not acceptable.
So we had to knock it out.
Right. And that's her thing to do. And that's what we did. And it was fun. We had a good time.
We did. We had a good time with a couple not so great times mixed in.
Just mixed in a little bit. But that's all good.
I will say we
forgot the roadies, and that happened.
The roadies, and,
That happened.
What are you gonna do? I would like to hone in a little bit more on our time at the escape room, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, let's dive into it, buddy.
If you don't mind.
I don't care.
Because we went to an escape room.
Yes.
You and myself.
Yeah.
Our spouses.
Yes.
And your 2 children.
Yes.
Did an escape room together.
Yes. Maybe the smallest escape room I've ever been in my life.
It was very small.
Okay, yes.
It was less space than
Our
the camera
studio
can see right now.
Yeah. Imagine packing 6 people on the studio right now.
I almost killed myself.
Don't say that.
4 times. No. I had a very tough time.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm not going through life with children every day.
Yeah.
Which you are.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more patience for it than I do.
It's chaotic.
It's chaotic.
It's a chaotic time.
Here's the thing about an escape room. For those listening that have never done it before, we all got to work together.
You have to work together.
We all got to work together. We got to strategize, and we need to give tasks
to each other. Yeah.
We can't all be working on the same thing at the same time. If we do this, we're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
Well, there was a lot of that going on.
There's a lot of that going on.
And I'm not putting it solely on your children.
You can put it on the littlest one.
No. My wife had a hand in that as well. There was one instance in particular. This is the only time I'm going to call my wife out on this one. And I had asked her, hey, have we accomplished this task yet?
Yeah.
And she turned to me and said, hold on. I'd been standing in the corner for 15 minutes prior to asking her that question. Because I was over there taking myself a breather. I put myself in timeout.
Yeah.
So I didn't hit a child. And I came back in and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back involved. I'm going to stop being a Scrooge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help out.
Right.
And I said, let me go to the one person in this room that I know I can count on.
It's your safe person.
You know, to be accepting of what I'm going to ask. And I said, has that one task been accomplished yet? Hold on.
Hold your fucking horses, dude.
I almost ripped an entire wall down to get out of there.
Well, the door was unlocked the whole time.
The door was unlocked.
Yeah, we could have gone out.
Yeah, no, but I wanted to really let everyone there know how angry I was. But I will fast forward a bit to
Both my kids came in the clutch, though.
They came in the clutch. I feel like you said that because you know I'm about to come at them.
Yeah, come at them, dude. But I do after you come at them, which I'm totally going to agree with. I do want to save space to shout them out because they did both. Each one of them individually did come in the clutch.
Yes, absolutely. And
you can attack now if you would like.
There was a moment that we had realized every person in the room had done something. Except for me. Because I kept getting super frustrated that I was like, I'm not one to like speak up.
Okay.
And say, I can take care of this.
Okay.
Where everyone else had
I actually have like major control issues inside of an escape room. Which you know. We've done so many. Yeah. We've done a bunch. And I take control in like an aggressive way.
Yeah, and you kind of establish like a ranking system.
Yeah,
the first time you do it, you know, and if you do it a second time with the same group, you're like, okay, I know Gunnar wants to do what he's going to do.
Write the codes down. I like writing the code. I do like writing the codes down and figuring out the little puzzles.
Yeah, and we have gotten good at working together.
Yeah.
You know, I'll read something out to you, and you're like, all right, I'll write that down.
Yeah.
We've gotten good at that.
And that came after this one instance where there were patterns on a floor. You remember this?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, we got in a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
There were patterns on a floor, and we were not communicating very well with each other, and we were both getting angry at each other.
Because our heads were both in different places, trying to look at the same thing.
Yeah, and I was looking at something one way and needing you to say left and right, but you were looking at it from the other direction.
Yes.
And so you were going left to right, but from your viewpoint.
My right was your left.
Yeah, and we had not figured out that that's what was happening for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And for 10 minutes, we were almost
neither one of
screaming
us-
at each other.
I think we were trying to. You were like, okay, his right is my left.
Yeah.
So when he says right, I'll go left, and I was like,
But then,
right.
you,
No,
were
right,
switching.
right.
Yeah. But then you would switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
that was difficult.
That was difficult.
And neither one of us decided to say, hey, I think we're doing this opposite.
Yeah. But how long was that an issue for us?
Eighth of a second afterwards.
Yeah. It was no time at all. We both realized what happened.
Yeah, we were mad for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were both, I think, sitting there in our heads going, this guy's fucking stupid.
He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't have to put up
First
with
of all, he's an idiot. And second of all, he's doing it on purpose. That son of a bitch.
And I don't have to sit here and put up with it.
I'm not dealing with this anymore.
So, yeah, we've been through that. We added 2 new elements on this trip.
Children.
Children.
Yeah.
And kids will be kids. And to a certain degree, escape rooms are for kids.
Not these ones, dude. You can put them in. You know what I realized we could have done? Was put them in kid mode.
I didn't even know that was an option.
So you can choose for it to be a child's game, and they solve like half the puzzles for you.
Yeah, which is
But
cool.
it's no adults allowed. That's why I didn't do it.
So could we have put them in their own room?
Yes.
Put it in kids mode, and we went
Yes.
and did hard mode.
They would have beat the shit out of each other,
Yeah, it would have been worse.
which they almost did under adult supervision.
Your daughter at one point, like, she did something, and you and your wife both were like, all right, you need to take a second. Just go stand over there. And she walked over, and you guys were in the separate half of the room.
Yeah.
And I was the only, because I was like,
You
taking
were
a
already in
breather.
timeout.
Yeah. I had put myself in timeout. So I was standing over here looking at a clue that we had already figured out, because I just needed to be doing something.
Right.
And I saw your daughter walk out, and she was walking towards the door, and I just looked over, and I was like, I wouldn't, because she was going to walk
She was
out.
going to leave.
Like, she was going to leave completely. And I was just like, I'm not going to say anything, because if I start speaking, they're going to be like, what is she doing? And I was like, I wouldn't. So, yeah, at one point, your daughter walked out, and she was getting ready to walk out of the room. And I was just like, I wouldn't do that. Just hang out here. Hang out in timeout with me. We'll cool
be
it
in
down
timeout together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard her go, it's not fair. It's not even fair.
Yeah. And I think I was like, yeah, I agree. It's not.
You're just feeling it.
Yeah. But also, we had unlocked another space, and both of your kids, who are half and a quarter of my size,
Right.
pushed me out of the way,
That aggravates me.
and I wanted to put both their faces through the wall.
I get that. And I will say, like, that was a tricky one, because I think usually we do it as 4 people. And so, like, if there's 4 puzzles, 4 of you can be working on it. I think what happens, we had so many people in there, like, we were solving things out of order.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, we were basically at the end, but we had to solve 2 things in another room still.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize that. But
Somehow we had jumped ahead.
we had gotten there.
Somehow.
So, but yeah, so I do want to shout them out, because the little one she found, we had to scan a QR code,
Yeah.
and we could not find this thing,
Yeah.
and she found it.
Yeah.
She found it. We looked everywhere. We're
Yeah,
dumb.
we had to find 3 total. We had
found
2 of
2,
them.
and
No issue.
no,
And there was one more, and we just couldn't find it.
it was
for the
hard
life
to find,
of us.
too.
Yeah.
It was hidden.
And she was like, I found the thing.
Yeah.
And all of us were like, oh.
What? And then my son took it upon himself to take all the
killed that.
these cords that you had to plug into routers in a certain pattern. And he's like, I'll just take these cords. I'm going to go figure this out. And the pattern was off of a calendar with like appointments
it was
on
a weird code that you had to figure out.
And he was like, no, I already got it. I tried to help. I got aggravated with him for not letting me help. Because I was like, this is a team thing. He's like, no, I for real have it. I have it. I promise I have it. And I was like, yeah, but let me just say it to you so it goes faster. He's like, I already got it. Yeah. I already know what I already did.
I heard you guys, the 2 of you interacting, and he was like, Dad, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, if you think you got it, then you got it then. And little did we know, he had it. Yeah.
But looking at the puzzle, I was like, there's no way I want to piece that together.
Yeah. But he nailed it.
And that's like the first thing he did.
Yeah. And he went off and disappeared and did his own thing.
He's like, I already got this.
Yeah. Don't you worry about that.
As soon as the first cord came out of a box, he was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Right,
so then we realized, like, he's got the cords.
Yeah.
And there was like 8 or 9 of them that you had to find.
Yeah.
And we just kept handing
him the cords.
And he was off doing his own thing. And none of us realized, like, he was actually figuring something out.
Yeah.
And he nailed it.
Because usually, to be fair, he just disappears. And isn't doing anything. So I thought he just wandered off of cords.
So when he walked away and was quiet,
I was like, fuck. Now we're...
No, credit to both your kids.
Yeah.
They killed it.
They did a great job.
But they drove me crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to kill them both. But love them. They did great. We just know next time, maybe not kids at an escape room. But
no, I think we could bring them with us, but we need to change our expectations.
Our attitude. I'm not going to do that, so we're not bringing them. No. You're right. So, no, but that was fun. So we did that. Then we had a great dinner.
We did. That was one of the better dinners I've had in a long time.
It was really, really good. And the waiter was killer, and the food was excellent. And Coastal Flats in Fairfax, shout out to them. Escapology, shout out to them. And then the Bull Run Light Festival, that's where we went, drive-through lights.
Can I tell you what was actually my highlight of the day?
What?
We went to, between the escape room and the restaurant where we went for dinner.
Yes.
We stopped off for a little boys' time.
Little boys' time.
We went over to the brewery.
Yes, we did.
There was a brewery.
This was a highlight of my day too.
It was such a good time. So the girls went. There was it's like a little outdoor shopping mall kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the girls went into this one store, and we were hanging out outside. Mm-hmm. And we were like, it's just tight in there. It's a small little boutique. And I think all 3 of us were like, there's just not space for us to just stand in here.
It was there was nothing. It was all women's stuff. Like she's got Apple Pay. She's fine.
Yeah. So we were hanging out outside, and at one point, my wife came out. She poked her head out, and she was like, if you guys want to walk away, we're going to be in here for a while.
Yeah.
Which was a saving grace
to
the 3 of us at that point. How long are we going to have to stand out here? Because it was cold. It was chilly. So we got that little bit of saving grace, and we were like, oh, there's a brewery a block away. We walked over to the brewery.
Yeah, it was right there.
You, me, and the boy.
Yeah.
And we sat down. We hung out. You and I grabbed a couple beers. He had a Pepsi and a onion rings.
Yeah.
Best onion rings I've ever had.
They were so good.
Yeah.
Craft House, shout out.
Was it Craft House?
Yeah.
Was that the name? You finally figured it out? Good stuff. But we were sitting there, and at one point, I had told a story about a female that I had seen.
Yes.
That had impressive shoes and hair.
Nice shoes and hair.
Yeah. Which we knew was code.
Yeah. We had the code.
Yeah. We had the code.
Yeah.
She had nice hair and great shoes.
Reverse those 2, but yes.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we knew one was code for one, and the other was
Hair's
the other.
up top.
Yeah. And I remember at one point your son was like, wait, I think I figured out what you guys are talking about here.
He cracked the code.
Yeah.
He just got out of an escape room.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a code master,
dude. So it was that little moment of just boy time, dude time hanging out, and seeing him interact with us in that way was very cool.
Oh, it was very fun. It was nice. He opened up a little bit. It was nice. We all just kind of hung out at this table.
Yeah. He was talking about his golf time, golfing at the club you were working at, and then you guys played at together. That was very cool. So then we went to the restaurant. And I didn't tell you about this.
No, tell me.
You and everybody else at the table was completely oblivious to what took place between your son and I. Uh-huh. So at one point, the hostess had come in and sat another table.
Uh-huh.
And I just happened to look over, and the shape of her hair just caught my attention.
Sure.
You know, and I was like, whoa. And
Some people have big hair.
some people have big hair.
Yeah.
Big, round hair.
And you just check it out.
And I looked back
You're
to
like,
you
look at that.
to see if you had noticed it.
Uh-huh.
And you were completely oblivious because you were dealing with everybody else at the table.
And also talking about what?
Talking to your wife, yeah, for sure. Sorry. Talking to your wife. And your son was sitting right next to you, and I just happened to make eye contact with him. And I realized we just both saw the same thing.
Right.
And I said, she has some cool shoes, huh? His face went red immediately. And he started dying laughing, but he was trying to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Like it was just our little thing that nobody else
That's
had
so
noticed.
funny.
It was hilarious.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Checking out shoes. He does like shoes.
He likes shoes.
Like shoes and
Who
hair,
doesn't
man.
like shoes?
Who doesn't like shoes?
You know, hair's cool too.
I respect it. Nice pair of shoes, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good time.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. Yeah, so it's just been busy. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, rocking and rolling. We got to get to this bucket. Yammering.
Did your wife enjoy the birthday festivities?
Yeah, she had a great time. We got back to the house. She opened presents.
Very cool.
Did she do that last night? Yeah, she did that last night. She opened some presents.
Nice.
And then went to bed. That's rocking and roll.
It's a solid night.
A solid day. We were out all day, though.
It was a long day.
We were out all day because we got here at noon.
Yeah.
And we didn't get home till like 9:15,
Yeah,
9:30.
let's meet at the studio.
Meet at the studio.
And let's get out of
Central location.
here. Yeah.
Let's go to the studio. Didn't record. I tried. She's like, not today.
No, you're recording tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a terrible impression of your wife.
No, it's all right.
She really said, well, you're recording tomorrow. I regret that I did that.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, though, is that's more of a spot-on impression of my daughter. That is what my daughter said.
I love your whole family.
Yeah, they love you. Till this airs.
All right, first topic. This is from Dakota.
Shout out.
Weird things that people make their whole personality.
Oh, my God.
See, that's
Podcasters.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you know how many times I've like dropped that I'm on a podcast to people that weren't asking at all?
Have you done that? Hey, have you checked out my
I
my
hate myself
podcast?
so much for it. Like that wedding that I
I'm
told
on
you about.
YouTube, you know.
That wedding that I told you about that
yeah.
I was in. Like we had a groom suite. And it was just like everybody was ripping, everybody was having a good time.
And they were like, "Hey,
and I'm the only white guy there.
Jeff, dude, you're getting married? Are you excited?" And here's Zach from the bathroom. I'm on a podcast.
So everybody's laughing and having a good time. Again, I'm the only white guy
We got
there.
real microphones. I swear to God.
So I'm trying to like find my in with this group because obviously I was chosen to be a part of the wedding for a reason,
Right.
you know. But I'm just not hitting it off with these guys.
Yeah.
And
non-podcasters.
I tried to
Losers.
I forget exactly what the context was, but I was like, yeah, me and my buddy on the podcast the other day, we were talking about like I just tried to sprinkle it in like
Gross.
so casually
On the podcast.
and you know,
Did anybody bite?
I was thinking everybody'd be like, wait, you're on a podcast? And everybody just looked at me like, all right.
Cool, man.
So I realized like, oh, this isn't going to work. So I was like, let me keep drinking.
Yeah.
Figure something else out.
So funny.
We all ended up getting along. It ended up being a great time. But yeah, I shamelessly plugged this podcast.
Hell yeah, dude. I have not once plugged this podcast. That's why the ratings are so low.
It's fine. It is what it is.
I just did a show the other day, Mitch's mobile home.
Okay. Shout out Mitch.
Shout out Mitch. Mitchell Page.
Mitchell Page. What's his Instagram? He's hilarious.
At Mitchell Page Comedy.
At Mitchell Page. You guys figured it out.
Just Mitchell Page.
I think it's Mitchell Page Comedy.
Might be.
Let's
or
see how
at
many,
Mitch's mobile home.
Let's see how many more times we can say Mitchell Page.
Mitchell Page. Mitchell Page.
It is a fun name to
say it 2 more times. It's got to pay us $4.
Mitchell Page.
So that was just on there, but that's the first opportunity I've had to like publicly promote the podcast, and I did it so haphazardly.
I would also like to tell you, you've had way more opportunities.
That's so true.
Did you actually promote us on his show? Okay.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was really bad. Actually, I did this shameless thing you was just talking about. I was like, well, Zach and I on the podcast, Bucket Boys.
Like any of his listeners even know.
And he's like,
that's so good.
And then at the end, he's like, so where can they find you? You know, we do the same thing. He's like, where can they find you? And I was like, oh, at the Bucket Boys. And as soon as I said Bucket, he's like, all right. No, I love Mitch. We'll have Mitch on. He's so great.
It'd be so great to have him on.
He'd be so good to be on. But
yeah.
So yeah, plugging your podcast is tough, dude. It is tough because it's like you don't really have very many opportunities to do it naturally.
Yeah. Like
and
organically.
So, like, it's all forced. Yeah. Organically is the same word I used, but different, but that's fine. You know, I like that. I love when somebody corrects you with a synonym.
Anyway. No, you're right, though, because it is something that I want to promote because I have devoted a lot of my time and energy and myself to it. And I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
And I want other people to know what's going on.
Right.
But it is tough because to bring it up just in conversation is like, well, who the fuck do you think you are?
Tell your friends.
Yeah. If you guys could promote it for us.
Tell your friends. Tell your family. Then convince your family not to watch it.
Yeah.
Because they will not enjoy it. Yeah, whole personalities. It's some people just make everything their whole personality. Like we've talked about this before, but like theater kids.
Yeah.
I
think it's
everything's got to be dramatic or whatever.
Yeah. I think for me it comes down to anybody that makes anything their whole personality annoys the piss out of me.
Yeah.
Like it's just very irritating.
It's like those people. Have you run into this where like somebody will say something fucked up that they did, right? Mm-hmm. Or said to somebody, and then you're like, whoa, and they're like, well, I'm just a bitch, Yes. And it's like, well, you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Or I'm the asshole, Yeah. It's like we've talked about this, I think.
Yeah, there was a guy in a circle of friends that I had at one time, and everybody knew him as everybody's favorite asshole.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this. Yeah,
because it's like once you get to know him, he's a good guy, and it's like that guy where it's like if we're one-on-one, we'll have deep conversations, but then your wife shows up, and he's like, "Oh, why you got all that makeup on?"
Right.
You just ruined everything we were just talking about.
Yeah, right.
You know? You don't have to adhere to the personality that everybody gave you.
Right.
You could still be a decent person. Yeah. You don't have to be a fucking prick.
Or it's like those people that lean on being weird. I'm not going to use the term because I do have very strong feelings about this.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're like, oh well, I have this thing going on, so I probably should be diagnosed with this or blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, you're being fucking weird, and you're just saying that's what you deserve, by the way.
I just sprayed beer all over my computer
and probably my camera. Son of a bitch. But yeah.
How funny would it be if the rest of the show is just with a water droplet over it?
Just slowly going down. That would kind of be funny though. But yeah, I mean, and I bet we're getting great shots of you missing the trash can.
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, I forgot to write it down.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, no, dude. How about you just don't be fucking weird?
Yeah.
There's nobody on earth
Yeah.
who is like this 1,000% of the time.
Yeah.
Even when they actually have this thing that you're claiming you have. You're just using this as an excuse to be fucking weird. And it's like, and you know that you're being too weird and too out of pocket because you're following it up with, this is what I got probably. Yeah. And it's like, no, dude.
It's the self-diagnosing thing.
I hate self-diagnosing. And that can sometimes be a personality.
Yeah.
I just self-diagnose everything.
Yeah. And people self-diagnose. It's the exact same thing as saying, I'm just an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's why I behave the way that I do.
It's like, no. You realize you're choosing to behave that way.
Yeah. So when you self-diagnose with a condition that people are actually dealing with,
right,
and you just allow, yourself to say, I'm this way because I have this disorder. Right. No, that's not fair.
Yeah, because those people with that actually have to do that.
Exactly.
They have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like OCD, stuff like that. Like,
oh, yeah, dude. When people are like, that's my OCD, that's a great example. Yeah. No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's okay that you just like to have an organized bookshelf.
Yeah, you like things neat.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's like, I put all my books in alphabetical order because of my OCD. It's like, that's just normal sorting.
Yeah.
That's how people sort things most of the time. I bet you if you went in an Excel spreadsheet and you click sort by, the first one is alphabetical.
Yeah. You're not unique.
Yeah. No.
You're not special.
And you're not an Excel spreadsheet either.
Yeah, and also people that are dealing with OCD have trouble every single day.
It sucks. Yeah. You don't have, that's not your, that's a new trend that I really hate. It's like, that's my fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And it's like, come
disorder.
on. Yeah, it's my, general disorder. And it's like, no, it's not. Stop. Why do you need to? Anyways, I'm gonna get us in trouble. But
it could be a long episode for both of us.
Yeah, and a long after the episode. So. But yeah, hell yeah, Dakota. Thank you. What do we got here? Love this. Brad. I tried to say Brad. Brad.
You got a lot of Chads and Brads.
Chads, Brads, Dads, Daddies, probably. Electric cars.
Okay. We kind of touched on this before. I'd like to know your thoughts before I say a word.
Well, can I tell you something funny about this? Mm-hmm. Is my son absolutely detests seeing Tesla trucks.
He's grossed out.
The Cybertrucks?
Yeah.
He hates them. I have never felt a way about a vehicle as he has a visceral reaction to the sight of a Cybertruck.
That's very interesting because usually for a young boy, that is inherited from their dad.
Sure.
Typically.
I don't think that's how genes work, but yeah.
No. Sorry.
Oh, you mean like I would be like, oh yeah, like people grow up and they love Mustangs. The dad loved Mustang. I got you.
So the fact that you are completely indifferent,
right?
But your son is disgusted
with the Cybertruck, dude. It is so funny.
Have you ever asked him why?
He hates the look of them. He's just like, they're so ugly.
They are ugly.
They're very ugly.
He's got a good point.
Yeah. Now I like electric cars. I think it is what it is. I would like to own an electric car. It would be fiscally, it's cheaper on the back end as long as it maintains itself.
Yeah.
What I don't like is that you always associate electric vehicles with autonomous driving.
I don't think everybody does.
Well, I'm one of everybody that doesn't.
Okay.
Some that does. But a lot of people do. They're like, like the argument against a Tesla is, well, they might crash. And it's like, yeah, they might, but also you might crash.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
the odds of a autonomous vehicle and a human operated vehicle crashing are one and the same.
Yeah, I have been in 100% more gas-powered vehicle crashes than I have electric vehicle crashes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's because I've never actually been in an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
But it's, it is what it is. But I do think, like, the price point's super high. And what happened with, especially here, it's because of electric vehicles, now gas-powered vehicles get taxed higher.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't afford the Tesla.
Yeah.
So why am I paying more in taxes on my 2014 Corolla?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're somebody that's buying a point A to point B vehicle that just wants it to be reliable, you're looking at a particular price point.
Right.
And yes, that electric vehicle might be just as reliable and just as point A to point B.
Well, it's probably better point A to point B. Like a town thing.
True.
Yeah.
But it's also 3 times the price point.
Exactly.
That's not.
It's like, well, I'm going in there
feasible.
and I'm looking at $20,000 for a car, right? Or I could do $65,000 for a Tesla, and it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And people will say, well, you can go buy a Honda Leaf, which is an old hybrid. That's probably not even a usable example. That's probably $20,000.
Yeah.
Well, if you want electric, go buy that. Well, I don't fucking want that.
Well, it's also like something like that. If you're going to spend the $20,000, why are you going to worry about having to make sure 2 things of fuel are up? So like you're almost not only you're spending more on electricity, but you're still spending money on gas. Now, I don't know all the things that go into an electric vehicle. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care about electric vehicles. It's just like this back end stuff where it's like it's so expensive. Like it's encouraged to get, but it's so expensive. And now if you can't afford it, now you pay more in taxes, and that sucks. I don't like that part of them.
Yeah, yeah, it is a little bit of a. I wouldn't call it a smoke and mirrors kind of thing, but there is a touch of that where it's like, the Tesla trucks were supposed to be $30,000 flat,
right?
And now people are paying like close to $100,000 for them. Well, what the hell was that then?
Right.
What are we doing? Why are they so much more? Why are people paying this amount of money for them? Is it a supply and demand thing where you couldn't create as many as you thought you could?
Yeah. Well, have you heard that joke? That was like, I love seeing the new Cybertrucks. Because any town you go to, you get to whoever's driving it's the town idiot or something like that. now you know who the town idiot is in every city you go to or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Which is fun.
I will say, when I see a Cybertruck out on the street, I'm like, these fucking things. They are cool to see. Like when we were out the other day.
Yeah, and I saw one. I took an Uber that was a Tesla.
Okay, and
it was nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about them just isn't right to me. I don't like the way they're being pushed. I don't like. There's something about them that I just don't like, and I can't get on board with. And that's just me, and that's fine. It's just like people that don't like pineapple on pizza. If you don't like it, it's fine. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, and keep it to yourself
for the most part.
Because we don't want to know who the idiot in the room is.
Yeah.
So keep it to yourself.
If I'm having a conversation with somebody and we're talking about electric vehicles and we agree, great. We'll go off and I'll go on for hours about why I hate them. But if I just see one, whatever. Some people like them, some people don't.
I don't mind them one bit. Let's get us a new topic.
Can you throw that?
No, it's not empty.
Oh, why'd you take it out of your koozie?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
That's evident.
Okay. And I spilled some.
I saw that. Is that wet now?
Now it's wet. All right, don't read it.
All right, I won't read it.
Stop rushing me, dude. Fuck.
The dainty toss was adorable.
It was kind of a dainty toss. And I would like to point out, too, I wiped up this spot, and when I threw it, more dropped exactly where I wiped it up.
iPad kids.
Love them. They're so quiet.
Yeah, they really are.
When they're on their iPads.
As somebody with no kids at all, love
Give that
iPad
kid
kids.
an iPad.
Yeah. I hear I hear a kid screaming at a restaurant. I'm like, do you not have an iPad to give that kid?
Yeah.
Why are we all listening to this?
You know what's funny about iPads and kids and whatnot is like this is such a gatekeeping type of thing.
Really?
Yeah. So like, and I'll give it to you from my perspective as a parent, right? Mm-hmm. iPads are tools. I have a phone. You have a phone.
Yeah.
You know, I think kids should have access to phones and tablets and computers and stuff. And it's like, it's all this stuff about screen time. But it's like, we spend our whole lives in front of screens in some way or another, right?
Yeah.
It's
if I'm at work for 10 hours a day, I'm on either my computer or my phone.
Or your phone.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, because these people will be like, you need to learn like a real skill, like Microsoft Excel. And it's like, that's on a screen, asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's so many things that are being taught subconsciously.
Right.
On these, granted, not all of them, but like a lot of these games, like Minecraft, for example.
Right.
Is a good example of a game that, expands the mind. Well,
so like, it's also like, I'm just going to take something very, very small for like little kids, right? So like learning to trace your letters. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do that. How did you learn to trace letters?
On a sheet of paper.
On a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Right? With a crayon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
What if you could just not have to buy a printer, buy paper, buy ink? What if you could just have it on a tablet?
Yeah.
And use a stylus and trace your letters. What if you could do that? Oh, shit, you can. Oh, fuck. Right?
What's wrong with that?
But the gatekeeping thing here is like, it's like most of the people that complain about iPad kids don't even have children.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, well, look how I turned out. And it's like, seems like you dried up to me, actually. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like they're real... they're just real particular about other people's children.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you don't have the experience in having to raise one, like you do want your kids to understand. Imagine if kids never had access to screens and then at 18 we said, okay, now go be successful in the modern day.
And today, yeah.
And they would be like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's all screens.
I mean, you look at you and I, you know, we grew up, we witnessed the internet being available at home. Mm-hmm. There was a time that we were alive where that wasn't the case.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cell phones weren't a thing.
Phone books were necessary.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something today's kids will never have to deal with.
Right.
Which... good on them.
It frees up their time. You know how much? Think about how much time we looked in a phone book.
Yeah.
Over the course of our life.
Yeah.
What if we had that back and we learned a skill? I bet you we spent as much time looking up phone numbers manually as it takes to become conversational in a language.
Yeah. That's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's funny. Like, I don't know if you remember, but...
we're waiting for the internet to start up?
Yeah. Like, we ordered pizza earlier.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I don't want to go through this whole issue of going to the app or going online, placing the order, because we were ordering two different styles of pizza.
Right.
I said, I'm just going to call the place and place the order. Well, now it's a call center. And... we had the language barrier issue where I had to repeat myself several times. I did hear this
conversation, so that is legitimate. This is not a generalization about call centers. That really is how that works.
Yeah, in this instance, we had a language barrier issue where things needed to be repeated. It was a 7.5-minute phone call, and I got redirected to an automated system to put in my card information.
A secure,
Yeah. And... they didn't understand the words that I was saying or the numbers that I was punching in. So it got cut off and it eliminated. They just ended the call. Said, we don't understand what you're saying. We're done. So I ended up having to go to the website and order it that way anyway.
Yeah.
What used to be a 3-minute conversation with an individual
Right.
is now a 6-minute ordeal where you're typing stuff in.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was, I don't even know what point I was trying to make here.
You remember you used to pay for pizza when it showed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even an option.
Can't even do that.
You could if anybody carried cash.
Right.
But nobody does.
Right.
We sound so old.
But I think that's true though, because we are old compared to what kids have to do now.
Yeah, and I think you were making a very good point earlier, and I think I actually cut you off, and I'm sorry. But
I never make good points.
The idea of people that are our age that existed in a time without internet in the home. Right. Looking at kids today saying, well, when I was a kid, we had to call and order our pizza and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's like their expectation is these kids should not be allowed to look at screens and touch screens.
Right.
And then, like you said earlier, graduate to go figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. That's not fair, and it's not realistic.
Well, and it's also like technology moves so fast. What is it? It took 2,000 years from the invention of the written language, of a written language. It took 2,000 years to print it.
Yeah.
To like produce it. It took 2,000 years, and it took 50 years to take flight and then go to the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 50 years.
It's that level of advancement.
Yeah. And now it took like 30 years from the putting internet into homes. It took 30 years to have self-driving cars.
Yeah.
These are like so tight.
If think about like,
and you got to adapt.
Yeah, for sure. I think about often like how recently artificial intelligence was available to you and I.
Yeah.
To where we could type in a question and just get an immediate answer.
Ask Jeeves, remember that?
Yeah.
Dope. And now Jeeves will jerk you off.
Depending on what store you're shopping at,
Dude, No, you can just order the Jeeves robot. Give me a little. You fill it with water, dude.
Yeah.
Sucky.
Sucky, am I right?
Sucky, Jeeves.
But to your point, technology is advancing very quickly.
Yeah, it's so fast.
And to expect that we're just not going to allow people under a certain age to be...
it's crazy. It's like, oh, no, it's gone too far. Yeah. That's what you're saying when you're like, get these iPad kids. No, what you're saying is like, I don't understand it, so I don't want to help.
Yeah.
I don't know why I raised my leg there. I got really like contorted. I hope the camera didn't pick that up. It totally did.
I have no issue with iPad kids.
I think they're sweet babies. And
they're
let them be
easy to spot in public.
Yeah.
But I have no issue with them.
Yeah, what's next? We're gonna take fluoride out of the water? Yeah, God damn.
You know what is interesting?
What are we gonna ban snacks?
Seeing the generational advancement to where kids don't want big screen TVs to play games. They want monitors. They want
little
desks.
Tiny things. Yeah. Be up close.
That's tough for me.
You know what's funny about that, actually? I'm glad you mentioned this because I thought about this not too long ago. I thought about, you remember when we had video games and they were on a TV?
Yeah. And
we got as close as possible?
Yeah.
And somewhere naturally for the kids, they were like, oh, yeah, staring at the big screen up close is not good for you. If we shrink the screen down, the smaller the screen, the closer we can get, and that's where we want to be, is closer. We've always naturally wanted to be closer to the screen.
That's true, yeah.
So now the kids instinctually are like, oh, no, I don't want the big thing. I want to be closer, but safely.
Yeah.
Give them some credit. Also, these same fucking old people these same fucking old people that want kids to get their iPads taken away rely a lot on modern medicine. So, so I say, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal.
Let's do it right here today.
Old, angry people at these iPad kids. Let's make a deal.
Okay.
We'll take their iPads away, but you have to go back to leeches. Let's see who lasts.
Let's see who stands out. Yeah.
Let's do that. You don't want the iPads. How are your nurses going to get scheduled? They're on an iPad.
Yeah.
Sorry, we haven't owned a printer in 87 years because they're all digital. I'm sorry, we didn't catch the tumor. Dude, don't hit my can.
Oh, was that yours?
No, that was yours.
Oh, well. I was going to say, I went right in the exact same spot. Oh.
Yeah. So, all I'm saying is, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because you know what? These iPad kids are going to save your children when they're old and crotchety like you fucking bitches.
Yeah, because you left them in the woods.
Yeah, because you left them in the woods because God forbid they had iPads.
Yeah.
Now they got in a whittling accident.
Now, I do agree. I think there is a balance that should exist.
Yeah, they should go run around and play and be outside and have fun. Yes.
But also, I'm not a parent.
Technology is a tool, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So you should limit
We
screen
all
time.
use it every single day.
Yeah.
We all use it as a tool as it's intended.
I know. I was watching panda bears earlier. Polar bears. I was watching all the bears earlier, actually. I was watching videos of bears. But I love them.
Yeah.
I like screens.
Screens are great.
We are literally putting this onto a screen.
Yeah. You're all looking at us on a screen.
On a screen. We like the screens.
Yeah.
We're pro screen.
There's
Big
nothing wrong
screen.
with screens.
Yeah, and these motherfuckers, too, they were also the same people like, ooh, the silver screen. Oh, what a dream. You know?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Their dreams were shattered because they were old and ugly.
Yeah.
And they couldn't be on the silver screen, so now they hate screens.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
I will say, just to go back to the when we were kids, the bigger the screen, the better. And now all of a sudden it shrunk down.
Teeny tiny. I did cut you off, sorry.
No, that's fine. So I think I got kind of like locked into this time in my life to where it was like, don't sit too close to the screen, you're going to go blind.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be as far away from the screen as possible. So the bigger you can make the screen, the better.
Well, that is back when we were looking at everything in 720, and that is not good.
Yeah, because if you got close to those, too many pixels, you got a problem.
Yeah.
But if it was up to me, if I had a perfect world situation, I'd have a projector
as big as possible.
As big as I could get it.
I love big.
So I could sit comfortably on my couch. If I want to...
From far away.
If I want to lounge and game, then that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So to see all these kids that want a computer chair and a desk and a monitor, it's a weird thing to me that they don't see any value in having a large TV.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around, but it's also not my problem.
Well, and let's think about that too, because it's also like spaces for people to live are getting smaller.
Yeah, true.
So they're adapting to that physically. Yeah. That's all I got. But yeah, that was just an idea I just popped in my head.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have more to roll with it, but it turns out it was a very A to B thought.
But there's also a point that I just thought about is like, it's not our problem.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Like if the kid wants to sit at a desk and look at a computer screen, then that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. And that's something too. It's like, a buddy of mine, I'm going to shout him out, Chris Allen.
Shout out, Chris.
Shout out, Chris. Oh, I'm actually wearing a shirt today.
Hey.
It's okay to be happy. Go buy it.
That's a good shirt.
I love this shirt. Him and I were talking about like kids and their interests.
Yeah.
And I have we touched a little bit about this at the beginning of this, but you know, he was saying to me that he's like, you always got to remember to meet kids where their interests are.
That's a good point.
So it's like it's not enough to let them play on the screen, but if that's what they're interested in, you gotta support it and participate in it. And so, like, if you're these people who are raising kids, our light's dying.
I think that's our 5-minute lay.
Stay blessed. But if it's not enough to be like, all right, just go play your games. You got to sit down and play a little bit with them.
Yeah, true.
You got to do that.
That's a good point.
And screens are not going anywhere. Who do you think you are? Trying to fight the world of technology?
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
No.
What a waste of a life if you're trying to fight technology.
It's a really good point that you and Chris made is, and it's funny because I'm going completely to the opposite end of the spectrum right now.
Yeah.
And in this new job that I'm in, essentially, let me try to boil it down to, we're just going over an entire software that we have and trying to prepare ourselves to switch to a new software.
Right.
So we're going to take all this information, all this data, and we're going to try to move it over to a new software. Like, this is coming. There's nothing we can do about it. I was put in charge of, like, this whole transformation. And there's one guy that works at my site that volunteered to help out and be a part of it. And he's 70 years old. He's been here longer than anybody.
Right.
And he's been kind of treated like the old guy. Mm-hmm. And there's been opportunities for classes to come about and new education and stuff that he's volunteered for the last 20 years. And the people there were like, no, you're old. You're going to retire soon. We're going to send our younger guys there. Right. And he's like, no, I want to be involved. I want to do it. But he wasn't outspoken enough, to like really put himself in that situation. Excuse me. So when I came into this role and I started taking over this whole movement of data, I was like, well, Greg's not going to want to be involved in it because he's old. I just assumed the same thing that everybody else did.
Made an assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the moment he and I had a conversation about it, he was like, no, I'd love to help you out. Yeah. So I said, all right, let's sit down and let's work on it. He and I worked together for 6.5 hours one day, and I learned more from him, and he learned more from me because we just put our heads together. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, holy shit, this guy just wants to keep learning and keep growing. Right. Even though he's like, let's call it what it is, at the tail end of his career, but he still wants to be involved. He still wants to do it. And I think these kids want the same thing, that same interaction of like, well, let's work together to try to figure this out. And I think that touches on something too, is like a lot of people that are saying iPad kids are the problem don't understand what iPad kids are doing.
What they know.
They're learning.
Oh, they got it. It's like Gavin. It's like my son with the wires. Yeah. At the escape room.
He knocked it out so fast.
It's like, dude, I never would have put that together, and it could have been something he saw in a game. Yeah. That's probably where they got the idea from. Yeah. And it's like, he's like, oh no, I totally understand the correlation here. Bum 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 bum.
People at our age can't wrap our heads around the fact that kids are figuring this stuff out. Mm-hmm. And they're just uncomfortable about it. Well, embrace it. Yeah. And encourage it. Because I think these kids are learning and growing at speeds that we wish.
That's why Are You Smarter Than a Fourth Grader was such a big hit. Yeah. It was that, because we're not.
No, we're not.
We're stupid. We're so stupid. And you know what? On that note, people older than us are stupid. Yeah, we're smarter than you bums. We're smarter than you, and our kids are smarter than us. So eat it, suck it.
Eat it, suck it.
Eat it, suck it, then eat it.
Jesus.
If you do it in reverse, that would be weird. Don't eat it, then suck it. How are you going to swallow it? All right. One more bucket topic. Nothing's wrong with your video. Our light went out. I don't give a shit. Ooh. Chris asks or submits. I guess these aren't questions. I keep acting like they're questions.
Yeah.
Worst family traditions. Emotional abuse.
Yeah. That is one of those that just keeps on giving.
It's a comedy show, folks.
Yeah. Damn it.
Zach's waxing and waning about old guys on computers over here. We gotta say something funny.
Worst family traditions. I got nothing.
You don't have y'all ever had family traditions?
No, that's what I'm trying to think about. Like,
What about you and your wife? Do you have a tradition? I'll tell you the worst family tradition. Going to the beach. I'm talking to you, babe. I need to listen to this.
so you're talking like an annual trip?
That's a tradition. Traditionally, we go to the beach
Is it the same beach every time?
every time. I just hate the beach.
Yeah, I hate the beach too.
Yeah, but that's where
Can't
we
stand
go.
the beach.
That's where we go. It's the worst.
I'm really
not going.
sorry. So yeah, I would agree with that. A trip to the same place every year
Yeah.
can be tough.
I don't think I grew up in a home with many traditions.
Yeah, we didn't have time for traditions.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we had more like friend traditions than we had family traditions.
Yeah, I didn't have that either.
I wish we would have had more to
had
say about
friends.
this topic because I think it's a really good topic.
Yeah. I was hoping it would be a quick one anyway, because I think we're
at our time.
yeah.
Well, Zach, where can they find you?
I don't know. It just got sad. You can find me at Zak Shoots on Instagram.
Zach_shoots_.
I think so.
All right.
If you look it up, you'll find it. Just look for my big dumb face.
Less enthusiastic all of a sudden. You can find me at Gunnar Cain Comedy. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at the Bucket Boys Podcast or on TikTok at Bucket Boys Pod.
TikTok. Bing bong.
And shoot us an email at the bucketboyspod@gmail.com. Submit your topics. We'll put them in the bucket. We love you. We got to get a new light back in here. Zach, you got anything for him?
Love you guys.
All right, I'm going to go smoke cigarettes with my shirt off. Fuck this.
There you go.